Thank you for tuning in. In this video, we will go over support and resistance, or at least the truth behind support and resistance. So, basically, one of the main and one of the first teachings of Forex is going to be over support and resistance and how to identify support and resistance. So, I mean, if you already have the basics and been trading, you know that support equals the floor, while resistance equals the ceiling. So now the truth behind support and resistance is I'm going to explain to you here shortly. But you have to understand that this is one of the main and first things, like I said, that is getting taught to new traders on support equals the floor and resistance equals the ceiling, and how to trade support and resistance. So, and I'm going to teach you how and why you should not trade support and resistance, but rather identify support and resistance, and just to understand the importance of what they call support and resistance. So first, let's go ahead and look at this area right here for our support and resistance. Let's just start right here. Right here, we got our support. We got our floor, right? So what do they teach you? Retail traders, I wish to say, because when we all coming into this market, we are retail traders, trying to understand this market. Now, the smart money, the market maker, liquidity provider, whatever you want to call it, that's controlling this market and making it react in a certain structure over and over, has this down. So what you're getting taught, what 99% of people are getting taught when they get into the Forex market is wrong. So that's the reason why 99% fail. And I'm going to show you why. So we got our support. We got our support. Let's just go ahead and identify this right here as a ceiling. Right? So matter of fact, let's go back to this drop right here really quick. So as we see, for example, let's start right here. This area right here where we got this break. So, for example, once you get that break, what they tell you, being this was acting as a support right here, and once it broke, it came up to act as a resistance, as a ceiling, right? So, breaks the floor, test the ceiling, and that's your entry, right? And that's what they teach us. So once you do that, you get in right here, boom, sell, boom, sell to right here. You see this support right here, a new support. Now you got your new support, and now you kind of wait and see what price does. It's kind of bouncing off of here. Boom, you got your new resistance right there. Wait for it to break and retest. It kind of broke and kind of did some funny stuff there, but eventually it broke it, it retested, and shot up. So now you see, you look to the left, you see the new support area, or new resistance, new ceiling. It breaks again. Once it breaks, you buy, so on and so on. So this is what they're teaching you on how to trade support and resistance. Once it break, you get in on the retest, what they call it. So support and resistance break, get in on the retest. So once it breaks, what are you doing? How are you catching the moves in between while you're waiting for the retest? For example, let's look at this. We got price. This is what they're teaching you to do. Support, resistance, trade. Once it gets to the top, resistance, sell. Gets to the bottom, support, buy. Top, resistance, sell. Support, buy. Support and resistance over and over. We sell, we buy, up and up, right? Plain and simple. And once it breaks, we retest, etc. But when do we know it's going to break? How do we know when we should look for that break? Because we know support equals floor, so we're getting ready to buy every time it comes to that floor. Then, what happens when it breaks a little bit like that? Comes back up. Okay, we're good. Get in, sell, buy, come back up to that area, come back down to the floor, buy again. Oh, we kind of broke it. Now you're getting kind of scared. Okay. Oh, what happens there? What happens here? So as you continue to buy and sell inside this support and resistance line, they do not tell you on how and to prepare for when it's going to break. They just tell you once it breaks, get ready for the retracement. Get ready for the retracement. Get ready for to sell or buy again. So ideally, while you think you're making money between these support and resistance lines, it drops. You're not even aware of when this is happening and why is this occurring. Then what happens? Once you sell up here, it drops all the way down here, takes you out the trade, then it shoots up. You shoots up, you identify it, so now you're like, okay, you're confused, just lost that money, all that money you made throughout this week, you just lost in this big old move here. So now you go back at it. Identify your new resistance, your new ceiling. Then we got our new floor. Same thing over and over. Buying, selling. But then again, trust all this time, we're on a 1 hour time frame. As the market is dropping below these support and resistance areas, people are losing money. Their stop losses are getting hit. This is the market hitting the stop losses before it continues to move it up. Look at it. It's doing the same thing, coming down to your resistance because they know you guys are trading this way, so it's going to continue to do this. It is taking your money, come down, take your money, go back up, get back in, come down. Oh, there go another sell. Oh, get ready for a buy. Oh no, what happened? Once you thought of getting ready for a buy, it drops. It breaks the floor. You sell, you think you're getting in for a sale. It breaks the floor and drops continuously. Same thing over and over. Now, to use support and resistance to your advantage, you want to identify them. You do not want to trade them. You do not want to get in the habit of waiting for a price to break the ceiling or the floor to retest and come back. That's not the idea of support and resistance, because you're going to constantly just be gaining a couple pips, losing pips, gaining pips, losing pips. You're going to be stagnant. You're not going to be profitable. You're going to be stagnant. You're not going to be making any money. So you have to understand, you have to break that that whole cycle of learning trading support and resistance on waiting for it to break, retrace, and then sell, break and retest and sell. That's not the idea of how to trade. Same thing applies with the trend line. Same thing. Retail traders are identifying. They teach you to identify the trend line. What 3 touches confirms the trend, etc. So you kind of, once you see the trend, you want to kind of do the same thing you're doing with support resistance. It's pretty much the same thing. You get to the top, you sell. You get to the bottom, you buy. You get to the top, you sell. Bottom, buy of the trend line. And you're doing this over and over. But what happens when it gets to the bottom of the trend line, it gets to the top of the trend line, you expect to sell, drops, and then boom, it shoots up. Because you're expecting it to get to the top of this trend line or your support trend line, whatever you want to call it, to continue dropping. But then it goes the other way, and then you lose money, and then boom, stop you out, take all your money. Same thing over and over. You identify that trend line, and this is on a 1 hour time frame. So if we was on a 15 minutes, so it'll be a lot more activity going on. Trust me. So once again, trend line, same thing. This is the way they teach you. Sell at the top, buy at the bottom, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Oop, right. Then they step you out. Same thing over and over. Same thing over and over, guys. And this is how they teach you to trade. And ideally, this is not what you want to. This is not how you're gonna make the money. This is not how you're gonna make the money. This is not how you trade that. You don't supposed to necessarily trade. You waiting for it to get to the top of the trend line and then sell, wait for it to get to the bottom and buy. And it's the same thing what they're teaching you. So that's your mindset. So when it gets to this bottom of this trend line, it's making these 3 touches, confirming this trend, 1, 2, 3, that it's going to continue to go up. So as it gets to right here, this bottom of this trend line, you're going to automatically assume to buy, and then what happens? Boom, it drops. It drops. It breaks it. Same thing, look. It's so funny. Because it gets to the bottom, you buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Gets to the top, you sell, right? No. Look what happens. So again, you do not trade support and resistance. You do not trade these. You identify these as zones. You identify these as zones. You draw them on your chart as zones because what are they? What is same thing as support and resistance? They're areas where price tends to always come back to in reverse and go the opposite direction. So these support and resistance lines where they teach you to wait toward the break and sell, that's bull crap. You know, and you're not gonna make money trading that way. And you have to break that cycle. You got to get that out of your head and learn how to trade zones, learn how to identify zones instead of support and resistance, instead of trading support and resistance. Now, remember, it is important to identify support and resistance. You want to know where these support and resistance zones are at, because it's going to help you identify where price is at. You do not want to look for the break of that zone. You don't and wait for the retest. Now, once you understand the basics and learn how to identify these zones, and you learn the daily cycle structure and the weekly cycle structure, then you will have a better understanding of support and resistance. And to understand that support and resistance is pretty much your liquidity zones, your entries areas, and your exit areas. That's exactly where you pretty much going to be doing a lot of the activity in this market. So once again, stop trading support and resistance, waiting for the break and retracement. Learn market structure, learn price action, stop using indicators. It's basic. It's not that hard. We put a lot into it and we're confusing ourselves. So this is just a basic understanding on how to understand support and resistance. Do not trade support and resistance. You just identify them as zones. Draw them on your chart as zones. Stop drawing the lines. Start identifying these areas for what they are.